it was effective.
Oh, yeah. Definitely was. Godfather was not nearly as much of a presence in this game as he was in the other games.
Okay, so Rocky Zoro not going to be playing that Ringo, of course. And will they just go for the same thing once again? No reason to change it up if you're GankStars. You just played a very convincing game with that Celeste, Koshka, and Arden composition.
See Hunters looking a little bit nervous right now. They're deep in thought about what exactly to go with here. Seems like they haven't really made up their minds just yet, in fact.
Yeah, well, they had a little bit of a break here to discuss any changes they wanted to make to their composition, and how deep do their hero pools go is the question. And is Godfather going to have to resort to a more scaling Crystal Power mid laner, and then Wands have to play a more conventional jungle pick?
See Jewel being hovered here by Godfather. Another option, I suppose. You could go Weapon Jewel in the lane.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see that from Unknown earlier on in this very tournament. And Jewel does stack up very nicely in the lane because of her perk, which gives her a lot of protection against that harassment. And Queen will go ahead and lock in the Catherine once again. And there's the Celeste again. And they may just do the same thing. I don't know if I agree with this, Valdez.
Well, let's see.
Adagio.
There it is.
Adagio, same compositions. Let's get into game 2.
The unfold has begun.
Game 2 and match point for GankStars in the grand final. Hunters needs to take this one if they want to take home the cup and $40,000. And we see GankStars here. Rocky Zoro just giving a little bit of help in the jungle. Same thing from Godfather, but this game really needs to change, Valdez, for Hunters, because they can't let Iraqi Zoro scale out of control again. Godfather did a good job of harassing early, getting Iraqi Zoro low on this Adagio, but overcommitted, died a few times to ganks, so they need to have better vision control around the lane.
Yeah. Would also like to see Hunters go a bit more aggressive, possibly. They do have that set up with Catherine into a core collapse from Wands. So let's see. Both jungle heroes for both teams coming towards the lane now. Looking for some kind of setup.
You can really see GankStars playing around this Celeste. And it's interesting because we talk about Iraqi Zoro style. Well, this is a style that GankStars hasn't really played as a team because they don't normally have to protect Iraqi Zoro. He's usually winning trades early as Ringo. And he's usually the one that's, you know, trying to bully the opponent. So he also usually has more mobility on that Ringo with the twirling silver, so it's a different style for sure, but GankStars looks very practiced. And Godfather not quite so willing to go up for those autos in this game.
Yeah, being very careful not to take too much damage early on, not be too far forward and susceptible to ganks. Although, well, we see the second clear coming in here. And a couple of scout traps. Gabe Vizzle looking to possibly clear some.
Yeah, it does have a flare in that brush, so he does see Queen coming in. But those scout traps, 2 of them down early. They want to go aggressive. Vanguard already down to Kuldameek. He gets some damage. Core Collapse is going to miss, but GankStars gets a chance to clear out some of those traps. And they win the trade.
Yeah, small victories here and there. That's what will win you that early game. Although Hunters is getting in position to farm up their back jungle first here. Whereas Kuldameek and Gabe are going very aggressive, want to take a fight.
Okay, Kuldameek already back. He wants to harass Wands again while he's still weak. Here we go, Vanguard coming through again, and they're just going to deny some of these jungle camps if they can. Set up some more deep vision, so GankStars playing out their strategy once more. They want to shut down Wands, and Hunters is not reacting by really shutting down Iraqi Zoro at all. In fact, I mean, this game in some ways actually looks a little bit worse because there's not the same amount of harassment from Godfather.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. You see just very careful play, once again, from Hunters. And I said it before, this isn't really their play style. We do see Godfather coming down here, possibly to buy some items. Maybe they will try to take a fight here as Celeste is in the lane.
Yep, Gabe gonna take a little bit of damage right there, and he will be seeing Vanguard on himself. So, Not too much damage, though, as more scout traps will be cleared.
Early reflex block picked up on Kuldamik, going to deny those early stuns from Catherine.
Yeah, just wants to get back onto wands as fast as possible. And now GankStars moving around, and they're going to try for another gank here. There's the opening core collapse. They're going to get it, and they're going to chain it into a huge amount of damage, get the kill for Celeste. So Rocky Zoro jumping out to an early lead once again.
Yeah, once again, and even poking down Wands and Queen here. Not scared to get aggressive, knows he has his allies behind him. And again, I mean, I didn't see many scout traps there, just going undetected. It's really about those early invades, clearing out the vision, and then setting up the ganks that will get you the early lead.
And it's hard for Hunters here because they're playing defensively against the Koshka, and Godfather's been playing further back in lane so he can react, but that's just leading to a Rocky Zoro really free farming in this lane and picking up a little bit of a CS advantage. So it's like when you play against this GankStars team with this composition and in Hunter style, it's sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Okay, GankStars coming, wrapping around once again. Gonna come through, core collapse, not gonna be used. And they're just gonna wait for it.
Kuldamik eating a bit of damage here.
Ooh, lots of scout traps triggered. No damage though coming through. Queens will take one to the face. And clear the second.
Now they have lost vision of that gold mine. Keep in mind, GankStars did get that pretty early on in that first game.
Here we go again. Here comes Koshka getting some nice pounce and twirl damage down. And just hits 6, so this is a moment of truth. Queen gonna face check this brush. She's only level 3. Let's pop the shield immediately. Can't take too much damage, but now is the time to really create some of these picks. If they can get that reflex block down on wands, it's gonna set up a nice Koshka ult immediately thereafter.
That's really what they're looking for. Crystal Infusion also picked up on Kuldamik on that Koshka, so definitely looking to take a fight. I think they're gonna clear their jungle and maybe force something around the gold mine.
Okay, so GankStars now heading back into lane. Need to push this one forward, or they can try and make any gold miner plays. Hunters has that pressure advantage, at least for the moment. They're gonna come down to the neutral shop, see if they can't pick up anything for Godfather, but all 3 members already zoning them off.
This is GankStars' moment. I think they want to take a fight right now. They're gonna clear up some of these scout traps first, and Hunters, I think they've identified this as well. They're backing off and playing very passive in this game.
Well, they just want to push the turret, maybe get some damage down while they can. There's a stun down onto Kuldamik. There's a Solar Storm. Not going to hit at all. And now Wands has to use his boots to get back into position. Rocky Zoro there. Now he's not level 6 yet, so he can't really pull anything off. They can't answer. They're going to try and get the gold mine. Maybe a little bit of an overextension. GankStars already chunked out. And they're going to get some nice scout trap hits down to even up the HP just a little bit. Hunters may take a look at that gold miner right now. Meanwhile, Rocky Zoro just hit 6 by returning to lane, so he's got his ult ready and waiting.
Yeah, kind of interesting that Wands is already 1 level up. He's not playing the same kind of Celeste that we saw last time, that in the back kind of style where he's hitting everything. I think he only missed 1 Solar Storm in the entirety of all his games in Celeste, and we already see 1 here. Of course, it is level 1. It's harder to hit, but not really on his game today, I'd like to say.
Yeah. Okay, so now GankStars again trying to set up for a gold miner. They will go ahead and start it, and they're going to drop those Heliogenesis right on the gold miner. Now they're going to zone him out with the Tribe Rush. Hunters coming in, though. They want the counter engage. Gate very low, and they're going to get the gold miner, but at what cost? There's another missed Solar Storm, but here comes the Koshka ultimate onto Godfather. They're trying to drop the Solar Storms, or the Core Collapse and the Heliogenesis onto him, but this is GankStars going to be possibly losing this fight. They're getting chunked out, and that's going to be an ace in favor of Hunters. So Gabe Vizzle very low at the start of that fight and not able to contribute very much. Hunters, they are going to take a turret off of this, so a nice gold swing in favor of the Chinese team.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed. And you can begin to see the difference in what makes a Celeste useful in these team fights. Rocky Zoro totally whiffs the Solar Storm. Kuldamik comes in with his ultimate. It doesn't really have the backup from his teammates at the same time to lock anyone else down.
Yeah, and it's just nice focus on the Koshka too. After Rocky Zoro missed that ultimate, they immediately switched focus to the Koshka, took out Kuldamik instantly, and then were able to clean up the fight after that. Also, Wands had a great two-man core collapse to start off that fight, which made a huge difference.
Two-man core collapse into, I think it was two-man Solar Storm as well. So you can see a gigantic difference in damage between the Celestes there, and although Hunters was behind before that fight slightly, they are now ahead slightly.
Okay, but Crucible is now done for GankStars, so they'll have an advantage when it comes to a team-wide reflex block to deny any core collapses that might come through. A couple reflex blocks on the side of Hunters, but Queen still a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah, Crucible going to be important in case Godfather can set up some kind of big Verse of Judgment. That's not really the type of Adagio that he is playing, with the weapon power, of course. Actually picking up a Broken Myth in this game. I don't think we saw that in the first game.
No, we did not. So mixing it up, trying to emphasize a little bit more crystal damage this time around. However, that will give GankStars a bit more ease of itemization when it comes to building shield.
So I guess he actually may be going for those Verse of Judgments, with which the Crucible is going to be fantastic against as well. And now even Araki Zoro and Kuldamik both picking up their own reflex blocks. Very important item.
Yeah, Gabe Vizzle, I think once we see him hit 6, this is going to be a major point, right? Game is very even in terms of gold right now, but Hunters was not able to take the gold miner after getting that ace in the turret. But since they can push the minion wave deeper in the lane right now, it's going to be easier for them to take fights around that gold miner than it otherwise would be. But this is really hanging on a knife's edge right now, and Araki Zoro going to block that with the reflex block so he doesn't get stunned. Turn around, get some poke damage in response. The rest of GankStars moving up into the lane.
Gabe is 6.
Yeah, Gabe is 6. Huge moment for them, because if they can blow reflex blocks on the gauntlet, then you can get that Koshka ultimate off without any kind of fear.
Yeah. Gold miner here, about 2/3 of the way done.
And here we go, just poking out a little bit. Queen will get the stun down. They're going to fight around this gold miner. Haven't shown out of that brush yet, so the gold miner hasn't started attacking. Gabe Vizzle low. Gabe Vizzle looking for a gauntlet. There's the ultimate. Will be reflex block, though. Verse of Judgment coming through. That's going to do a lot of damage with the Broken Myth. And this gold miner just isn't part of this fight yet. They're going to drop some more damage. Can they take out Queen? They cannot. And a Heliogenesis from Wands is potentially going to finish up this fight. Rocky Zoro trying to save it, but he can't. And Hunters takes the fight, and they will take the gold miner. And a big part of that was the gold miner was never attacking during the course of that fight.
Just barely out of the range, and the gauntlet came down very, very late. Once again, maybe if he would have been able to trap the entire team around the gold mine as he did in the first game, that would have worked out so much better for them. It was a decent idea for GankStars to fight there. We were talking about this moment in time, which was very important to fight after Gabe hit 6, but it just wasn't executed correctly.
Yeah, and man, that Verse of Judgment doing a lot more damage this game. You could see Godfather really landed a big one. And this is probably a reaction to last game where they just piled on Wands, because if Godfather's just sitting there and nobody's autoing him or trying to kill him quickly, then there's that chance that he can just channel that ability, get off the big burst.
Yeah, it's very true. But I think this also, as we were saying before, you know, there's only going to be one type of damage really coming out from Hunters. It is going to be that crystal damage. So as it does get later, and the members of GankStars start to build a bunch of shield, it is going to change a bit, I think, the face of these team fights.
Yeah, you see Kuldamik already starting to stack up on that shield. Another light shield in the inventory. And now they're going to come back down. So GankStars falling behind. Hunters with a pretty healthy lead right now. Have managed to take the first turret, have managed to retake the gold miner at a crucial moment.
Now it's them. You know, they were playing very passive earlier on, but now with the gold mine, they can do even more of that. Again, just, you know, rotations into the lane, push it back with Celeste, come into the jungle, place a bunch of scout traps, clear some out if you can, and just wait on that gold mine.
Yeah, and in this game, unlike last one, the Celestes are very even. Both have really the same items going into any upcoming fight here, but an advantage when it comes to that crystal infusion for Wands. So he's not an item or two behind this game. He can match Araki Zoro's damage on this hero.
And keep in mind that Wands actually has a lot more gold in his inventory as well. Looks like about 800. And even though he has less creep score at this point, he is 6-0. So a lot of gold coming through there.
Really turned around his play from last game, that's for sure.
Had a shaky beginning of the game, but that's all gone now. Looks like he's really in his groove.
Absolutely. So Godfather poking out a little bit. Ooh, taking a huge amount of damage from that Nova. So the poke coming in, but he does have more crystal power this game, so he can heal for more too. That's another factor. But look at Iraqi Zoro just one-manning the entire team of Hunters, getting him very low.
If you can begin to poke, you can get those stacks of Broken Myth up, and then, you know, Wants doesn't really have it. You can get so much poking damage done. They can't really get close to him.
This Solar Storm going to try and hit on the side. Goldmine will be taken though. Iraqi Zoro, oh, misses the Solar Storm, but it may buy enough time. Here comes Queen, is going to stun Iraqi Zoro. Can they get the miner though? They can. And they will escape just barely.
Just barely. All of them, even after getting the gold mine here. So it's going to be up to Hunters to try to get some kind of advantage here. Oh, Caldebean getting caught.
Yeah, and that'll be a Vanguard saving his life, but Gabe Vizzle just throws himself in front of the bullet right there. Queen coming around, trying to get the dive, and not going to work out. Turret will do some damage to Queen on the retreat, and Iraqi Zoro should be able to clear out this minion wave by himself.
Yeah. Kind of unfortunate there. Queen going for the big kill. Would have been nice, especially on Caldebean, but especially now, you know, it's only 14 minutes of the game. The death timers aren't that long. They still are going to be able to push them back, force them to, you know, recall back to base. So they will get the gold miner here once again.
Yep, and just that constant control. Let's take a look at this replay. There's the stun coming through.
Gabe actually, you know, vanguarding in and dying, but he does save Caldebean's life.
Yeah. Do you see the Gabe pulling the Secret Service in front of the president move?
That's exactly what it looked like too from Arden. It's kind of funny.
So here we go again. GankStars going to match up in the middle of the map here, but the Kraken spawning just a very small amount of gold, and this game still surprisingly even could go either way.
Yeah, Hunters can't allow themselves to take a lot of damage from Iraqi Zoro here from the poke. They really just have to sit back and play that passive game once again, allow GankStars to make some mistakes. So far, the vision around the Kraken, you definitely give that advantage to GankStars. Tons of scout traps on their side, their half at least.
And they're just going to hold on as best they can. It is only one turret taken so far in this game, so it has been very back and forth, focused on that gold miner and some skirmishes in the center around that objective, but not much else going on. Meanwhile, Aegis done on Caldebean. That's a big pickup.
Yeah, it really is. They're beginning to realize, I think, after that one fight, that Godfather's really just relying on the Broken Myths and Crystal Infusions and just a more defensive build in this game. And so they can really just itemize against that Crystal power.
Yeah, props to Godfather, though, for changing it up. You know, he went for that more harassment build with the double blazing salvos in the lane, and he saw it wasn't really working, so he did something else. It's been much more effective.
I feel like Godfather is definitely one of the strongest players. Well, that thought.
Queen going to come in, stun Caldebean, but how much damage? Ooh, not so great ult from Queen, and they're going to follow up on that immediately. GankStars rolling in. There's a big Solar Storm, and the ultimate coming back. The reverse Solar Storm is going to get the kill, though, onto Iraqi Zoro, so it's actually a favorable trade for Hunters.
Oh, boy, that was unbelievable. Iraqi Zoro walked into the Versa Judgment and then ate the lead star of the Solar Storm, and just, he got steamrolled.
Yeah.
Two ultimates hit him and he died.
Well, great combo from Hunters. They kited that one out. Caldebean getting a little frisky here. Wants to get in onto Wands. There's the Vanguard. They're going to be able to take Wands out. Nicely done. Caldebean now coming on through. There's Godfather. Can he pick up an ace by himself? The damage is there for Cole. How much does he want to commit to this? He's going to go in. He's going to try and get it. Pounce comes through. There's the Vanguard, and he's going to get it with the twirl. So Caldebean and Gabe Vizzle once again with the big plays in this game. They get the ace, and they're going to start pushing.
Yeah, there's no question as to what the reason is why Caldebean is the ace player on this team. He can make plays like that. It's very hard to pull off, but he's able to do it. Identifying the situation where I believe the Celeste is pretty low on mana and just everybody pretty low on health, or energy, I suppose I should call it. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, I mean, Juan's here low on health, doesn't have full energy, but also doesn't have any of the abilities up. The Solar Storm is down, so he just goes in.
Yeah. Does not really land that good of a core collapse either, and just the follow-up here from Kosh. And Caldebean saying, hey, Kosh is not that weak. I can play her.
He definitely can. So, and just the Aegis and the Fountain of Renewal combination doing work too. He's very difficult to kill right now. And sure, GankStars are going for a very crystal-heavy build too, but where is the shield on Hunters? They have not itemized defensively in the same way.
Yeah, absolutely none here on both Godfather and Wands. Only the Fountain of Renewal picked up on Queen. And that is a big mistake. I'm glad you do point that out. They're going to have to build some shield here in a bit.
All right, this capture going real fast. Kraken is going to be taken by a Rocky Zora. Now here's the gauntlet thrown down. Wands on the back line. He's got 2 people on him right now. Can he kite it out? There's the ultimate from Koshka. He gets healed just a little bit. Solar Storm finishes him off. It's 2-on-2 action right now, right around the Kraken. And Godfather wants to get out of this one. Looks like he will. The Vanguard, though, keeping a Rocky Zoro in the fight. Gabe Vizzle following up. They're going Godfather hunting.
And I think they should be able to with that Vanguard. Oh, just barely out of range. Going to get the heal off, rather.
Yeah, but how long is this going to last, Valdez? He's going to get a turret, actually. Nicely done, really. And Godfather gets the heal again, and the second Heliogenesis misses, but they've got a big problem on their hands at the base. Gabe Vizzle going to town with the Kraken on the turrets, and Rocky just needs to delay this. Is he going to find him? He does! In the end, that is a crucial kill right there. It buys them a lot more time. 40 seconds now. Wands is down. He is going to be able to take out this Kraken rather quickly on Celeste.
Yeah.
But it's done a lot of work, and GankStars just roaring back.
Yeah. Do have to hand it to Godfather. Him running away bought them a lot of time. They may have even been able to end the game, especially with a Celeste pounding down on those turrets this late in the game. But it's not over yet. GankStars definitely with a huge advantage. And this time Araki Zora, I was watching that fight very carefully, seeing his movements. He just barely dodged the Verse of Judgment, and he was able to line up just in those positions a perfect Solar Storm on all 3 of the members.
Here he comes. He wants to go in. Core collapse. Ooh, risky engage, which he's going to miss. There's the gauntlet going down. Kuldamik already on top of Wands. Can they finish it off? GankStars in a rough position. Big Solar Storm, but can they finish it off? Nice Verse of Judgment going to stun Araki Zoro. And now GankStars on the retreat. They overcommitted a little bit to that. Sprint boots into the core collapse. Really risky. And there's a nice jump over the wall with the Vanguard to stay alive. For 2 members of GankStars. Hunter's not really going to be able to do much right now. They can try and invade. Kuldamik, is he going to get out?
Just barely.
Very close.
Yeah. Again, that team fight just really came down to the questionable decision to try to engage like that. Usually you want to leave that up to your Arden and your Koshka. Sit in the back. He did not get his Solar Storm off. Missed his core collapse there. Nothing went right in that fight. And so kind of awkward there for GankStars, but they're not going to lose all too much off the back of that.
No, they won't, but it's still going to put us very even in terms of gold. But now we see Gabe Vizzle starting to build shield himself. Meanwhile, shield still disturbingly absent on Hunters. We see Godfather with the Shatter Glass now to complement his Broken Myth. So they've got the burst, but I mean, the survivability for GankStars is going up and up, really.
They're really just relying on tons of barriers here. You get the Fountain Renewal, but there's double Crucible and the Reflex block on Wands as well. He's got Neva Farvis as well, so you can kind of stick in those fights with that sustain. But at the same time, even when you're going against only Celeste, it's not that bad of an idea to build a bunch of shield. And you're right in saying that it's a bit disturbing.
Yeah, it is. And we do see Araki Zoro actually going for a weapon power infusion too, so just doubling down on those consumables.
He did that last time too. Kind of an interesting idea.
Well, his autos actually do scale with the perk from Celeste on Crystal Power. So he is going to be hitting very hard with his autos too, so he's just adding a little bit more damage to that.
That's really what that's about for sure. Getting a zoom in there on the team of Hunters.
Playing defense right now, certainly still in this game. GankStars has taken over the jungle, denied all that vision. They will not, looks like, go after that minion mine right now. They want to push this wave forward and try and just secure the next Kraken and win with that.
That's essentially all they have to do. That one turret is so low, and with only one other turret, as long as, even if Gabe survives with the Kraken, should be able to finish off the game. So they're just playing for that, putting on a bit of pressure, denying a lot of farm, not taking the minion mine. They know the minions are not going to push into a Celeste who's being this defensive, so no reason to pick it up. And here's the Kraken.
All right, here we go. No vision for Hunters right now. They have to be very careful as they walk toward this objective, and they're just not going to get there in time. So second Kraken of the game will go over to GankStars, and Hunters trying to stay in this one, just holding on at the moment.
Very dire situation. They have to take a team fight here. They need to win it, or else it's almost definitely going to be game, and that will be the finals going to GankStars here. So let's see how they decide to deal with this. Looks like they're going to sit back in the base for now.
Okay, so GankStars setting up. Look at Gabe Vizzle. Looks like, let's see what he's doing. He's down on the bottom side right now, trying to stay out of vision. And now they start to line up, walking around the smoldering remains of this turret, dodging heliogenesis, and it's going to be a poke war, waiting until this Kraken gets there. There's some Nova going down, and now Iraqi Zoro going to have the poke advantage because he doesn't have to focus on the Kraken, and here we go. One goes down to the pounce. Now they're going to get onto Iraqi Zoro. Reflex block already down, though. There's the Solar Storm going to hit two. Iraqi Zoro trying to kite this, and there we go. Wands will fall in the end. It's now 3v2. Godfather on the backside. Queen coming through, and he will be stunned to get taken out. Core Collapse finds its target. GankStars is going to win this game. They are going to win the Vainglory International Premier League and take home the cup and $40,000 here in Seoul, South Korea.
Fantastic couple of games played there by GankStars, the well-deserving champion.